So it's a windy, wet day, and we even have hail and 130-kilometer winds. Or at least they've died off a bit. So I'm inside doing desk jobs. My neighbour recently handed this to me, saying he'd busted a port out on it and wasn't quite sure where. I think I know where. We were out about doing some filming in this little clip here. Go this side. That's a deep bog hole. We were floating there.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, he happened to have had it in his pocket at that time, and I think the lead that was plugged into it busted the port off. Okay, we're going to take some screws out. And these are standard Phillips screws. Somewhere I have a magnet thingy to put screws on. Let's find that. So my magnet thingy for screws is currently holding bits from the Victorinox Swiss Flame that I bought, and the tank on that has fractured, so I need to re-engineer one of those. That is a video for another day. Somewhere I have a collection of magnets like that. So these are long ones, and we're going to pay attention to the length of these screws because sometimes they are different, although I'm willing to wager these will all be the same length. Alright, we flash forward to lucky last screw. See here. Now this is quite heavy, more than I'd expect for lithium batteries in this. I'm not surprised if I happen to find a lead weight in here. Now, I'm going to just carefully examine here. It looks like there's a join along here. We'll find a spudger. See if we can open things up. There it is. A couple of little feet there. So maybe I can wedge in under here, or maybe under here. That looks like the join there. We'll try and just work our way around here. I'm not sure if this is snap clips or if it does entirely rely on the screws, although I'm not feeling any snap clips. It does feel glued though. I don't want to shove a metal spudger in here too far because I may angry the gods of the electrons that are hiding inside. And I'm pretty sure this will be a lithium battery. They generally don't like being short-circuited. Okay, I think we've made some progress here. Just trying to be gentle so I don't damage anything. There we go. They pop out. So here's our panel that we can disconnect with that plug. That's nice. So the panel is actually connected. I know this looks like it's the backlighting. That's a light panel, so the solar panel is over here. And yes, we can see it's trying to say that it's charging, but it's not. Or maybe it's just because I bumped a button. And this looks like the back of our USB port that fell out. So the port is definitely busted. And it looks like these USB ports may fit. So we need to get this board out. And this is a fairly hulking big battery in here. Still feels very heavy for a lithium battery, and it would appear the battery is probably soldered on, and there's a little temp sensor here, so this is going to be a little tricky to take that board out without doing damage. So I do appreciate the thermal overload in there. Appears to be 2 screws on that board. See how we go getting this out. I'm going to take some time off camera to remove this so I don't swear too much. Alright, so I'm just having a look inside here too. This is a 37 watt hour battery labeled as 10 amp hour, 10,000 milliamp hour. This says it's a 20,000 milliamp hour, so that's a bit of a stretch. It's only got a 10 amp hour battery in it, although might be that's what I'm looking at. It might be that there's 2 of those cells stacked on top of each other, so that might actually stack up. Yeah, okay, I see here. We have 2 cells in parallel, so that would make 20 amp hour. Okay, so not quite the stretch I thought it was. Anyway, the bit we do need to replace is this. I did use a plastic tool to pull this out, so I didn't short it out. These appear to be surface mount ports. These are through-hole ports. Not going to work. So I can at least lift the old one off. This one looks pretty much like it's just sort of popped off the contacts, although these are all a bit messed up, so I may need to find another one of these ports and order that in. So in the meantime, what I might do is just get the heat gun onto this and at least lift the old one off and see how we go from there. It does look like they sort of come through the other side, so I might be able to hit that with a soldering iron carefully so that I don't short anything out. Alright, I had to take a slightly different approach to this, coming from the side. Now that I can get some heat into these, I should be able to slip a spudger tool underneath. So I'm going to need to do that with two hands. So we're going to twist upwards and hopefully we can lift that off that pad. Well, I think we got it. Now we can lift the other side. Now this is where ambidextrous ability sort of helps. I'll switch the soldering iron to right-handed and use left hand on the tool. Can lift you out of that hole. It's the only part of this that's through hole by the looks. Can we lift you up? You might be able to use the blue tack that's stuck under it. No, but it's not sticky enough. Give me one moment. Okay, so the port is out. We just want to clear these holes a little bit. Normally I would use a desoldering tool, but solder wick might do the job a little more graciously. You do have to get solder wick fairly hot to do the job. Now I have a desoldering tool, and the ironic bit of this is I'm going to have to add some solder back in to make this work. The danger with these, and that's the wrong soldering iron. Use the hot soldering iron. The danger with desoldering tools is if there's a via in that hole, you can suck it right out. Generally don't want to. This is a mechanical one. I'd love to have a motorized one. Okay, so I had a chat to my neighbour and he's basically said, look, well, because I don't have one of the right ports, we'll get one in, we'll order it in and we'll button this up for the meantime, which still makes it usable, and we will do the install when the new port comes in. I just need to get these wires in, and there comes some of that rain blowing in and hail. I need to push all this down gently. We'll get this positioned in a bit. I need to sort of be careful that it goes in the right way. There's that little rubber bit there that's going to be a problem. I'm going to be careful to use plastic tools here so I don't cause a problem. There we go. That pops in better there. That was a little bit of a trick I had to push down while pulling this tab back. And there's two little locator lugs up the back here that I need to get in position properly and push down on. I think that's that one there. I don't want to push too hard because I will snap the board, I think, if I don't get it right. Let me stare at this for a bit. We'll be back. Okay, so I got that board pushed back down. I'll do this screw up here. Yeah, I had to use one of these plastic tools here to push things in position. It is quite tight up against that battery, but we're just going to put the two internal screws in to the board here, carefully not to short anything out. One criticism I have of this design, it would have been nice to have the batteries actually plugged in, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit, and we're going to put our LED board back on. We're going to do a quick function test before we button it all up again. Which way around does this one go? This plug's confusing. There's so many variations of these that look like they should go in one way but actually go in the other. It's a little hard to tell. Okay, did we have a there we go. There's our okay, that is meant to flash. Oh, it's flashing SOS. I think once you make sure you've got all the lugs in the right spot, and it's pretty hard to get this backwards because of that plug, we should be able to simply just press everything together. Should be, being the key word. Oh no, it looks like these are meant to go under those rubber pads, so not quite that simple. Alright, so we need to guide those rubber pads out with a spudger tool. So we need to guide it in under there. That goes in better. Guide that out. So what I'm doing here on the last one here, I'm sliding in between the cover and this little rubber pad, pushing up and pushing the rubber pad out, and then sliding down under there. Alright, so it's back together and it's working, I guess. There's a button there. Which button did I push? Do I push and hold that one for the light? There we go. The light works on there. Okay, so it's back assembled and functioning and charging, so that will be nice. We'll give it back to him. We'll get online and we'll order another socket. We'll probably do another video when we put the socket back in at some point.
3 weeks later.
Okay, so new ports arrived, and the owner of this, my neighbour, dropped in. He needs it in a hurry, so we're putting it back together. I've already partly placed the port, and this little through hole here wasn't quite clear enough to slot it in. So I've got the soldering iron heating up. I've got some 0.71mm 6040 tin lead solder, and we're going to try and get that on there. And I may use some solder paste on the back and a heat gun. I don't know, maybe the soldering iron will get into this. We will tin our iron a little bit here. Give it a clean. Now I think if I heat this pad while I push down, it should probably just drop in there like that. That's good. So now we can flip this over and I'll get some blue tack to hold it. These are going to be the tricky ones to solder, but we really only need 2 of these. We really only need the power contacts. See here. And I don't want to short anything here because taking the battery off is challenging in this. There's one. There's 2. Now we're going to flip our board over and we're going to touch up the underside of the board with a strain relief up here. These bits here. A little bit in here. A little bit in there. A little bit in that one. And a little bit there. No, didn't quite get that one. There we go. Alright, so I've reinstalled the board, and that should allow me to plug this in. I don't still know how to turn this on, but let's try and charge something with it that's not the power bank, because it doesn't normally charge, obviously, in a traditional sense. No, that doesn't fire it up. What else have we got that can make contact? Maybe a JBL speaker here. Let's see what happens with that. Maybe it'll charge this. Let's try a lead that might not be dodgy. You know what, I've got a silly idea. This has been sitting here for a while. I wonder if it went flat. Let's see what voltage we have across the battery pack here. Okay, 4 volts. Okay, so that would be charged for a 3.7 volt cell. So it has battery volts. Okay, this has a solar panel on the back, and if we expose it a bit, you can see down here this light does light up, acknowledging the connection to the solar panel. So that's good. Still don't know how to turn it on. So I think what I'm going to do is reassemble it, given the time frame that it's required in, and I'll ask the owner how it works. Okay, so I've had a look at the port on the front here, and one of these is listed as an input port. So I guess that one is an in. So what we might do here is give it some input and see what happens. And it's showing us charging. Can I turn the light on now? Ah, there we go. It does work. I think it might have just considered itself as flat. Can I turn that off? No, not flash, off. Oh, that is an annoying setup. Well, who would want that? Okay. Turn the lights off, please. Thank you. Okay, so it's charging. So it might be that it went flat, and it might be that they don't have good bleed back protection on the solar panel, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's charging. So we'll just let that happen for a while. But it does appear to be fixed.
1 hour later.
If I do this now, well, let's say, it does see voltage on the port that I've repaired. There you go. I had to just wake it up. So yes, there's voltage on both ports, it's repaired. It just needed a bit of a jump start. So we'll leave it on charge for a bit and see what it reckons. Yeah, it was half charged. Okay, see you in the next one. Hope it was fun. And this was the Cygnett battery bank repair. See you later.